Hello, guys. This is an update for May 22nd. Update on the special military operations in Ukraine. So, we'll be providing you with a SitRep. This is Ukraine, the whole of Ukraine. The areas in pink here or red are the areas that the Russians have taken over. This area is actually larger than England. Here's Crimea, Kherson, and then this little area here is the Transnistria, the region in Moldova that's ruling themselves, protected by Russian peacekeepers. Anyway, most of the fighting right now is right within this area because the Russians trying to take to seize their main objective here on the east is to free these two republics that President Putin recognized as independent, as the Lugansk region and then the Donetsk region. So the fighting is in this area. Let's zoom in. So Ukrainian troops are being placed in a boiler in this area, and Popasnaya, this area was seized last week, sometime last week. So Ukrainian forces are around here, they're being placed in a boiler. So after taking Popasnaya, the Russian forces extended to the west and then to the north. I would say the Allied forces, because the forces from Donetsk and Luhansk regions are also fighting. So here's Luhansk region, here's the Donetsk region. They're also fighting to secure their territory as well. So right now the Russians are, by the way, this map is liveUMaps.com. They are pro-Western people, so sometimes they don't update stuff. I know for a fact that Tushkovka, may not butcher it, Tushkovka was taken. There's, the fighting in Zolote is a lot closer also, and I know some of there are more prongs in this direction towards Solidar. There's also, I think I've seen reports today that Privilia is taken or close to be taken, but the big plan that the Russians have is for Severodonetsk and Lysichansk. These are two big cities. So the if you saw the Terminator tanks coming, they are coming for those cities for city warfare. That's where the battle they're going to be useful, and the Russians just introducing them. That's going to be trouble for the Ukrainians because that thing has firepower. And yes, tanks are deadly, but remember, tanks they traverse the ability to traverse is not they don't have a unlimited room to traverse. So in the cities they can become a liability sometimes. So the BMP T-72 uh, Terminator 2 is the Russian kill for urban combat. It's how you call it, it's a tank support vehicle that will definitely protect the tanks and cause a lot of problems for the Ukrainians. Now, the Ukrainians, they're supposed to look at this situation. If you're saying you are the government of record and you know there are no forces coming to counterattack, it would be a good idea to pull back from these areas and pull out. That being said, I don't know that now that they even have that option anymore because they I would say the U.S. Everybody blaming the Ukrainian military, but from the Ukrainian high command. But from what I'm hearing, the high command is giving advice to the leadership that these men need to be pulled back. But the leadership is listening instead to the handlers from NATO that are in Lvov. So that's why they are not pulling back. So they're just being careless with these guys' lives, and they're just going to end up dying. Uh, all the Ukrainians are doing is dying. That and you know it's nonsense. Now let me go to the Kharkov area. Remember, they were making a whole lot of noise that the Ukrainian forces counterattacked and went to the Russian border. Yeah, they went. They got through this space here, and then went and put a little marker, took picture, and then ran. So I think they were doing that for MSNBC and CNN. Uh, that's my at least that's what I would say. But remember, all of here is the Russian border. Russia pulled out all of these areas before and let Ukraine have it. So being on the Russian border ain't doing nothing. They ain't going into Russia to go try to fight. They attempted that once in Kharkov and it went badly. They're not going to do that. They may fire missiles there, but that's about all they would do. The Russians pull back their forces here because the Russians are not doing an offensive operation in the Kharkov region. It's a city they're not ready for that yet. What they're doing is that they're fixing these guys here. So the Russians can stay here and keep these guys trying to fight all day, attempting whatever they call their counteroffensive. They can try to do all of that all day. So long as they stay here, they're not going to threaten the main operation in the Donbass region. And let's go back to the Donbass region. Okay. So let's come back here. This is the area that the Russians want to capture. That's the main area they want to capture right now. So this is their focus. They're attacking from year, and they're closing up. They're looking to close up they create several different cauldrons, put the Ukrainian troops in encirclement, and just destroy them with artillery. And Ukrainian troops are dying. No, earlier today, one of my not earlier today, yesterday, one of my friends said, after listening to CNN and stuff, said that maybe this is a stalemate. So I asked him, well, a stalemate implies that there's a back and forth, meaning I'm seizing territory, you getting in it back, or we're not moving at all. This is not the case. The Russians are gaining ground. They're taking their time, but that's purposely. Okay. Remember, the U.S. told Russia that they're trying to weaken them and they want this war to go on for as long as they can. Well, the Russians are okay with that. And so that's why the Russians allocated around 200 and some 260,000 men for this operation to take their time, those men, and they're not going to take all the men and treasure and throw into this for a couple of reasons. One, they're going to, they're expecting that NATO might want to try something, so they're being prepared for them. Two, if these guys want to drag this on here for long, the Russians will agree. Let's drag it on for long. Ukraine will suffer. Ukraine and the West will tire first before we tire. And what the Russians are doing right now, and I suspected this and it has been proven true, is that they are cycling their forces. All of their forces are cycling into this theater. So uh, there were forces from the Central Military District and forces from the Eastern Military District. The Eastern Military District is all the way in Siberia, but their forces coming there. This is being treated as a training mission. So it's probably on the training budget. You know, Russia holds these exercises with a couple 100,000 men and several times a year. So this is going to be like that. These guys were coming out and they will destroy the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians are doing a lot of the dying right now. So the Russians can hold this for as long as they want. That's what's happening in Ukraine. And to tell you that the Russians are kicking their butt, you know that Austin, I think earlier this week, or was it last week? Uh, uh, Lord Austin called and Sergei Shoigu to ask for immediate ceasefire. It was denied. Then guess what? I call him Mark Milley called General Valery Gerasimov later on. The U.S. is the one initiating these calls. Well, if the U.S. end goal, as Austin said, was to weaken Russia, and all Western media is saying that Russia is doing so poorly and Ukraine is doing so great, why ask for a ceasefire then? Aren't you getting what you want? So the Russians are putting them in the boiler, and this is what's happening to Ukraine. Sorry that they're losing men like that, but you don't poke the bear. That's what's happening. Here's another map showing just the Donetsk front, the Donetsk area. This one is more pro-Russian, but it's a lot more believable because the armed forces of Ukraine, their general staff, did mention some of the places that were seized here, and they said that they think that the Russians are trying to plan out a direct assault on Slavyansk. Now, if you notice here, this is Severodonetsk that I talked about earlier, and this is Lysichansk. So fighting is already on the outskirts of Severodonetsk, and there's Zolotoye. Some part of Zolotoye is already taking over. This is Popasnaya area. Some part of Zolotoye is already in the hands of the Russians. That's not shown on the map that I showed earlier, UA maps. This one is from Zrada 22 in Telegram. But yeah, these are the areas, how the fighting is going right now. The Ukrainian forces are being placed in cauldrons, little cauldrons, and they will not be able to get off. And I mean, it's just going to be bad for them. That's just the situation they face. To end this SitRep, let me show you a few of what's happening to Ukrainian forces every day. This is at a rate of around 500 men dying a day. That's more than a battalion.
Ну,
This is
вот
not,
так вот потом бывает.
obviously, it's not
Никто тебя
one,
не
but
забирает. Никому ты не нужен,
one brigade or so. It's
кроме
over the
мамы.
whole battlefield that they're losing that many men. That is not good.
Хуй его знает.
It's not good.
Короче, как-то
So
так идет.
the Russians have no reason to want to stop. Why? You say you want to fight for a long time? Okay, let's fight. Before I leave you, let me give you a little nugget. This is an interview that Michael McFaul did, and he was boasting on here how U.S. diplomats lie. And the interviewer asked him, well, how you expect the Russians, pretty much how you expect the Russians to believe your assurances then. But McFaul was the former U.S. ambassador to Russia, and he's very anti-Russian. It's one of those very anti-Russian guys in Iran. But anyways, take a listen. See you guys sometime next week, or maybe this week if there's something new that pop up. Please support the channel by sharing and liking and commenting. All right, thank you.
In 2021, we kept reiterating that Ukraine was going to join. We kept saying that over and over again. So our diplomats are lying?
Yes.
So
Yes, that's the real world, guys. Come on,
I
come
get
on.
that, but you could.
That's
then,
the real
yet
world.
Wait a sec. Our diplomats are lying all the time, yet the Russians should trust them when they offer assurances.
No.
And we shouldn't.
No. No, that's not what it's about. Okay. All right, guys. See you later.